Before we start today, I have to tell you about State Farm agent Brian McDevitt. A lot of our listeners have gone to him for all their insurance needs, and he's been very helpful in getting them the coverage they deserve. There's no games with Brian. He's just here to help and make sure you feel safe. So if you have insurance needs and you haven't called him yet, what are you waiting for? Dial up the number, 630-796-2662. That's 630-796-2662. Or find him online at ryanismyagent.com. That's ryanismyagent.com. And make sure to mention Sports Talk Chicago. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. I want to start today with this. I am very opposed to cheating. Go figure, right? For the longest time, I said no one who used steroids should go to the Hall of Fame. I condemned steroid use to the fullest. And I said this is not the way it's supposed to be. Why not have integrity when you do something? Integrity is valuable, not just a sports lesson, a life lesson. You need to be trusted. You need to show people that you are trustworthy. You aren't a scammer or a schemer. You're genuine. You're honest. You do honest work. What happened to morals and values? But over time, my position on cheating, especially in baseball, has changed a bit. When we look back on Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, a lot of these steroid users, their impact on the game, because of steroids or not, was immense. Some would say immeasurable. 1998, McGuire, Sosa, immeasurable impact on baseball. Barry Bonds and what he did. Hall of Famer before steroids, definitely one after. Immense impact on the game. And if we're going to let in Bud Selig, who condoned and allowed this stuff to go on, Commissioner, why can't we let in the players who did it? If we let in managers who allowed it, Tony La Russa, why can't we let in the players who did it? See what I mean? So, that changed my position on the whole thing. And today, if you ask me, is Barry Bonds a Hall of Famer? Is Roger Clemens a Hall of Famer? Yeah, they are. They were great. Great before, great with. And they had an immeasurable impact on baseball. Plain and simple. Steroids or not. They were big for the game. They were bigger than the game at times. They deserve to be there. You know, it's ironic because we do see no spitball pitchers, Vaseline ball pitchers in the Hall of Fame today. Bill Niekro, Gaylord Perry, two great pitchers whom we all revere, used Vaseline, pine tar, spitballs, nail files to throw a baseball. I didn't see anybody say a word about it. Again, I am not for cheating. I don't support it. I don't like it. But when you go low, pitchers are forced to go lower. When you change the baseball over the years to hurt pitchers, what do you expect them to do? MLB to alter baseballs for the 2021 season. After the league saw a record 6,766 home runs in 2019, the home run rate fell from 6.6% to 6.5% during the pandemic-shortened 2020 campaign. The key to the boom for home runs? Inconsistencies in seam height. I'm not going to get into the science. I'm going to tell you like it is. Major League Baseball has been screwing around with baseballs for years. They are essentially using their league as an experiment every year. How many home runs do we get this year? How many last year? What can we do? If you're going to mess with the baseballs, then pitchers have every right to mess with how they throw them and what they use to apply to them. It's really that simple. You could say, I don't like cheating. I hate cheating. I hate it. That's a life lesson. You should never cheat. Show integrity, show honesty, and hard work. But when you've got a system that is being gamed against you with different baseballs, different seam heights, more home runs, less home runs, when you're being treated like a lab rat, then you have every right to fight back. Tell me I'm wrong. And that is my issue with sticky baseballs, with checking guys to see if they have substances on their hand or their forearm. You could all sit here and bemoan it, and you're right to do so, but let's point our fingers at the real culprit, Major League Baseball, Rob Manfred, for screwing around and switching the baseball year in and year out, for forcing pitchers and hitters to have to conform to a brand new playing substance. The baseball is the most important part of the game, the ball itself, and you're changing it every year. You're changing it. You're making it bigger. You're making it smaller. You're making it tighter stitched, less stitched, higher seams, lower seams. You are conducting an experiment every year with these players. And remember, these players' salaries depend on their performance. So you're messing with future paychecks just to see how the baseball holds up. And then people wonder why there's going to be a strike, why everybody is enraged, and why pitchers have to resort to foreign substances to get the job done. I mean, this really couldn't be more obvious and simple. And if you haven't seen it yet, I don't know what to tell you. It's just a real shame. Quote from Forbes. In many cases, an analysis of baseballs taken from games revealed foreign substances that had been applied to the ball. Foreign substances caused increased spin and changed the trajectory and dynamics of the baseball. Wait a minute. Change the spin and the dynamics of the baseball. What's the problem with doing that when Major League Baseball does the same thing to you? Oh, the spin rate's too high. The dynamics are different. Wait a minute, though. It's public knowledge that baseball changes baseballs every year. I just read you an article. 2021 balls will be different. So that's public knowledge. That's okay. But pitchers trying to get used to those new baseballs are being shut and outed and taken down. You know, there are times in which I feel so distant from this sport. This was my first love. This I will always try to love. But I'll tell you this much, over the years, it's been harder and harder to gravitate to baseball in general. And then they wonder why fan interest is dwindling, why no one's going to their games, why social media isn't taking off. Well, if you stopped acting like this, you'd be okay. You are causing a civil war between players, commissioners, owners, scientists, all over your product, the baseball. The old adage is, any press is good press. This, not good press. Not good press for the game. For the young fan who's interested, a casual fan, when they see this, they'll be done. People don't want to watch cheating. People want to watch integrity and good competitive sports. Not, oh, here we go again, another substance check. They don't realize it, and frankly, they don't care. And that's going to be a big problem for them. You all know me to be a traditionalist, and I am very staunch in that stance. I'm not a big fan of bat flipping. Not a big fan of showboating. Let the guys have fun. I'm not a fan of that. That alienated me a bit, but I was okay and I could deal with that. This, you could be a purist or not. This is not okay. It would just be so amazing if, nobody cheated. But I don't blame them for doing it when your league, when your superior, is changing the baseball. Yearly. Every single year. I don't know what to say to this. And I do not blame any player, any pitcher, from resorting to foreign substances. I don't. There's nothing wrong with it. What are you supposed to do? What are you supposed to do? You are being screwed out of millions, tens of millions of dollars. What's the problem with trying to ensure yourself a paycheck? Remember, sports is a business, and these players do need to get paid. If they can't get paid, they're done. If no team offers them a contract, well, you're out of baseball. That's just a fact. So these guys are resorting to foreign substances and cheating to get by. I don't blame them. I would if there was no reason to, but there's a reason to. Steroid era? No reason. No reason for that to happen. This reason, good reason. Baseball is purposefully messing with their product, with what they sell. And if you're a worker, how could you take that? What are you supposed to do? When your future salary is determined purely on merit and performance and somewhat of the market, how are you supposed to combat that? Other than, well, I need to do something. I can't pitch to a 5 ERA and expect to get a contract next year. So, if they're going to screw with me, I'll screw with them. That's it. No one realizes. No one cares. People are looking at this all wrong. Well, there's cheating. They're cheaters. No. It's called baseball's cheating them. So they are cheating back. They are retaliating. And they should. Every right to. Explain this to me. Why was it in 2019 that baseball had a record amount of home runs? Because they're messing with the baseball. Then last year went down a bit. Now they're changing it again. Since when is it your job to experiment with players? To try different things out. And in the process, to cheat them out of millions and potentially tens of millions of dollars. That's not acceptable, and you know that. That's completely unacceptable. Completely unacceptable, and that's why baseball will have a strike. Can't avoid it. This relationship has been ruined and tarnished. Tarnished. I just love how players are being construed as the bad guy. Right? They're in the wrong. They are doing wrong by trying to ensure themselves a contract because the playing ball that they use is being tampered with day in and day out. But no, they're wrong. They shouldn't be cheating. Give me a break. What would you do? What would you do in that situation? You need to make money. Put food on the table. Would you just sit there and take it and be like, oh, my boss is cheating me and I'll just have to sit here and deal with it? Or will you say, no, I need to do something because if I don't, I may not get a raise or my paycheck or anything? It's really a dire situation. And it's unfortunate, more so, that no one's covering this correctly. Everyone's concerned about the players, them cheating. Oh, this is horrible. Oh, the checks. Oh, Max Scherzer took off his pants. So funny. No. The real issue is this. Baseball, for years, has had a concerted effort to cheat its players. Why is it, though, that when the players cheat, there's a problem? That's the issue. That's the whole crux of the problem. Why is that acceptable? And to this day, I haven't heard an answer. I haven't heard anything. Nothing. Nothing acceptable. I've heard constant blame on players. I've heard people diminish what they've done. Scherzer, DeGrom, other guys who actually performed. Heard a lot of that. I haven't heard, well, maybe it's baseball's fault. Well, maybe they shouldn't be messing with the balls. And they do. Such a shame. Every time I try to love this sport again, something like this happens. And it always makes me remember, this ain't the baseball I grew up watching. I watched fun baseball. I was born in 2000. I watched fun baseball. Post-steroid era, entertaining baseball. Pitchers baseball, even in 2011, 2012, 2013. I didn't hear anything about steroids, different baseballs, cheating, jersey checks, pants checks. No. I really lived through a good era of baseball, and I'm thankful. But obviously, it's too much to ask to go back to that era. Now we have to sit here and deal with cheating, which already is bad, but more importantly, baseball cheating their own. That should be a big problem to you. And if it isn't, then you're not a baseball fan. You don't get it. That should be a serious problem to you. That's why there will be a strike. Mark my word, there's going to be a strike next year. There's no chance there isn't. When you are being cheated consistently out of millions of dollars based on the composition of a baseball, you really think players are going to forget about that? No. They'll remember, and they will put up a fight. And this could be an ugly lockout, ugly strike. My hope is for integrity. Integrity and honesty always prevail. Always. So my hope is that moving forward, there is more integrity and honesty. Not from players. Players are pretty honest. From Major League Baseball. More to come here on Sports Talk Chicago. My interview with Dan Wiederer comes up next, so stay tuned.